Hey guys, this is continuations of India Polity multiple choice questions and answers. And before to start this video, let me show you my playlist where I upload all the contents. So if you go to my YouTube channel at Educational Concepts and if you click on playlists, you will see all the playlist whatever I create, I do upload here, right? So you can pick up a playlist which you need based on your topic which you want to study, you can go through it, right? Let's now start with the multiple choice questions and answers. So we'll start with very first questions. What was the original positions of right to property in the Indian constitutions? It was a legal right, it was constitutional right, it was fundamental rights, none of the above. What was the positions, right? Was it legal? Was it constitutional? Was it fundamental? Was none of the above? What is the answer? Let's look at the answers. In beginning, this guy, the right to property was a fundamental right. Later it was removed. Which article of constitutions dealt with the right to property originally? Which article of the constitutions? Options A, Article 91F and Article 31. Option B, Article 32 and Article 33. Option C, Article 35 and Article 36. Options D, none of the above. Please take a pause and try to think about the answers. Let's look at the answer. Article 91F and Article 31 was originally dealt with the right to property. Third questions. Which constitutional amendments were made to nullify the effect of Supreme Court judgment and protect certain laws from being challenged on the ground of contraventions of fundamental rights? So if something against the fundamental rights, which constitutional amendment was made to nullify the effect of Supreme Court judgment? Options A, 1st, 4th, 7th, 25th, 39th, 48th, 42 amendment. There are multiple amendments. Options B, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th, 8th, 9th, 10th amendments. Option C, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th amendment. Options D, none of the above. Let's take a pause. Let's look at the answer. Options A, 1st, 4th, 7th, 25th, 39th, 14th and 42 amendment was done to nullify the effect of Supreme Court judgment. Let's look at the second questions. Which amendment abolished the right to property as a fundamental right, okay, and inserted a new article 300A in part 12 of the constitutions, right? Options A, 42nd amendment. Options B, 44th amendment. Option C, 45th amendment. Options D, 46 amendments. Which amendment? Let's look at the answer. 44th amendment. Sorry for this, the tick mark came to the wrong positions. What does Article 300A provided? A granted right to compensations in case of acquisitions or requisitions of private property by the state. Okay, they have guaranteed that you'll get compensated if your property is getting acquired by the state. Protections of private property against legislative actions, direct access to Supreme Court under Article 32, all of the above, right? So what does Article 300A provides? Which options? Please choose the right answers. Options B, protections of private property against legislative actions. Next questions. What is the present status of right to property in India? What is the present status right now? Options A, is it fundamental rights? Options B, is it legal rights? Option C, it is not recognized by the constitutions. Options D, none of the above. So what is the current situations now? It is a legal right. How can the right to property be regulated? How this can be regulated? By the ordinary law of parliament, by the constitutional amendment, by judicial review, none of the above. So how this can be regulated? Options A, by the ordinary law of the parliament, this can be regulated. Next question, is private property protected against legislative actions? Is it protected against legislative actions? Options A, yes. Options B, no. Just think on the answers. No, it cannot be. It cannot be protected. Legislative body can take actions. In case of violations of right to property, where can be aggrieved persons moved for enforcement? Like where can be? You are aggrieved persons. Where can you move for enforcement? The Supreme Court under Article 32, the High Court under Article 226, both A and B. You can go to Supreme Court, you can go to High Court, or option C, none of the above. Answer is High Court under Article 226. Okay. Is there a granted right to compensations in case of acquisitions or acquisitions of the private property by the state? Is there a guaranteed right to compensations in case of acquisitions and acquisitions private property by the state? Option A, yes, under all circumstances you will be guaranteed. Options B, yes, but only in the limited circumstances. Option C, no. Options D, none of the above. Right? Just think through the answers. Options B, yes, but only in the limited circumstances, not always. Okay. Which Amendment Act added the provisions for compensations when the state acquires the property of a minority educational institution? Right? Which Amendment Act added the provisions for the compensations when let's say state acquires the property for, let's say, the public welfare or for the state welfare, right? Property of minority educational institution. Which amendment added this? Options A, 44th Amendment. Options B, 45th Amendment. Option C, 46th Amendment. Options D, none of the above. Okay, let's look at the answers. Options A, 44th of the amendment. Next questions. Which Amendment Act added the provisions for compensations when the state acquires land held by a persons under personal cultivations within the statutory ceiling limits? Which Amendments Act added these provisions for the compensations when the state acquires the land held by individual persons for the cultivations? Options A, 17th Amendment. Options B, 18th Amendment. Option C, 19th Amendment. Option D, none of the above. Let's look at the answer. Options A, 17th Amendment. Which articles have been retained as exceptions to fundamental rights? Right? Has been retained as exceptions to fundamental rights. Article 31A, 31B, 31C. These are the exceptions to fundamental. Just when you are thinking on the answers, think through. It's exceptions to fundamental rights. Okay. Options B, Article 32, 33 and 34. Option C, Article 35, 36, 37. Options D, none of the above. Which article has been retained as exceptions? Let's look at the answer. Article 31A, 31B and 31C. This was retained as exceptions to fundamental rights. Which article saves 5 categories of laws from being challenged and invalidated on the ground of contraventions of fundamental right? If you do fundamental rights ullanghan, contravention, which article say 5 categories of law from being challenged? You cannot challenge that 5 categories of law and invalidated on the ground of, even though you can't say that it is violating my fundamental rights, you cannot challenge. Options A, Article 31A. Options B, Article 31B. Option C, Article 31C. Options D, none of the above. Which is the article? Article 31A. Which laws are saved under Article 31A. Law related to agriculture, land reforms, industry and commerce. Options B, acquisitions of estates, related rights by the states. Option C, extinguishment or modifications of rights of directors or shareholders of corporations. Options D, none of the above. Which law saved under Article 31A? Let's look at the answers. All of the above. Related to agriculture, reforms, acquisitions, extinguishment or modifications of rights of directors or shareholders. All of the above. What is the conditions for a state law to be immunized from judicial review under Article 31A? What is the conditions for a state law to be immunized from a judicial review under Article 31A? It has to be reserved for the President's considerations and has received his assent. It has to be passed by two-thirds majority in the state legislative. It has to be passed by the simple majority by state legislature. None of the above, right? A state law to be immunized for judicial review under Article 31A. What should be the right answers? It should be reserved for the President, or it can be passed by the two-thirds majority by the state legislatures, or by the simple majority in the state legislatures. None of the above. What is the answer? It has to be reserved for the President's considerations and has received his assent. Only President says that go green, then only go green. Which article saves act and regulations included in the 9th schedule from being challenged and invalidated on the ground of contraventions of fundamental right? Which article saves acts and regulations included in the 9th schedule? Whatever acts and regulations was added in the 9th schedule from being challenged and invalidated, they cannot be challenged, they cannot be invalidated on the ground of ulanghan of fundamental rights. Which article? Options A, Article 31A. Options B, Article 31B. Option C, Article 31C. Options D, none of the above. Let's look at the answers. Article 31B. What is the scope of Article 31B? Let's try to understand with the options. It immunizes law falling under any of the 5 categories specified in Article 31A from all the fundamental rights. It immunizes any law included in the 9 schedules from all fundamental rights. It provides for the payments of compensations at market value when the state acquires land held by a persons under personal cultivations. Options D, none of the above. What is the scope? Where it will help you? Let's look at the answers. B. It immunizes any law included in the 9th schedule from all the fundamental rights. Okay. Can law included in the 9th schedule be immune from judicial review? Is it immune from judicial review? Whatever law was added in 9th schedule? Options A yes, options B no. Yes, it is. Which case led to the Supreme Court ruling that there could not be any blanket immunity from judicial review of laws included in the 9th schedule? Which case? Which case led the Supreme Court ruling that there could not be any blanket immunity? It cannot be any blanket, okay? From judicial, everything should come under judicial review included in the 9th schedule. Keswananda Bharti case, Minerva Mills case, IR Khole case, none of the above. What is the answer? Think through the answer. The answer is IR Khole case. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching this. Hope you liked my video. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel so that if I'll upload the content, you will get a notifications. Thank you again.